jump right into it, and I'm going to start with a story. I don't curse. I try not to, but no, I'm kidding. I don't. But there was one day, one instance, one time, one word in my life when I really let it go. It was in 8th grade. Two of my friends and I were working on a project. It's called History Day. And basically you take an event in history, an invention, or some kind of innovative event, and you report on it. You can do a website, you can do a poster, you can do a play. We chose the play because we knew we'd be the only ones that did a play, and so we'd get 100% regardless because we're original. And so we were rehearsing. We were at my house. We were practicing, and then we decided to take a break. And my friend, while we were taking a break, showed us this video on YouTube, and it was an interesting video. I don't remember what it was, but I know that the entire time that we were watching it, all we could say was, what? It was weird. It was just the weirdest thing that I had ever seen. But my friend had seen the video previously, and so she knew when curse words were coming up. And because she knew that I didn't curse because I was a Christian, we were at my house and my parents are Christians, she would turn it down. And because of who I am as a person, I got offended because I thought, what, she thinks I can't curse? Does she think that I can't let it go? This was my thinking. This was my reasoning. I said to myself, why don't I curse? What is stopping me? What if I just did it just once? I mean, this video is so weird that I could literally say it and it'd be totally okay. So I go for it. I dropped the F-bomb. I went for it. I said, if I'm going in, I'm going all in. And she slams that phone down. They turn to me, and there's just silence. And in that silence, I could feel the regret surrounding me. It was tangible. The regret that I felt, I was devastated. And they looked at me, and then one of the friends, she said, did you just cuss? And I was like, psh, yeah. And I just brushed it off like I was so cool. But on the inside, I was dying. I was crushed. I just wanted to breathe in and take that word back into my mouth. I had so much regret. And to this day, I cannot forget about this moment because it's inexplicable to me what pushed me to do that and why I did it. But what really, 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 really got to me was the fact that they knew I was a Christian. And at that time, I considered myself to be saved. In fact, I had invited both of those girls to our first GTS conference. They had gone, and I talked to them all the time about church. And yet here I was in my own home going at it with this foul language. And I felt like a fake. I was so devastated that I had done something that Christians weren't supposed to do. And not only did I do that, but the people around me knew it too. They knew that I, as a Christian, wasn't supposed to be cursing. And so, reflecting on this story, and what I kind of want to talk about is people outside of us as Christians, people who haven't been saved or don't know what it's like to live a Christian lifestyle. From the outside, sometimes what they see is simply a bunch of people that follow a bunch of rules. And they see a restrictive lifestyle that tells them a bunch of stuff they can't do. Don't smoke, don't curse, don't steal, don't lie, don't cheat, don't fight. And 100% Christians that follow Christ's example shouldn't be doing these things. But for people that aren't saved, sometimes that's all they see. They don't see salvation, they don't see the love, they don't see the things that Christians do. They only see the things that Christians aren't supposed to do. And so, keeping this in mind, I wanted to look at Colossians 2:21. Why do you submit to regulations? Don't handle, don't taste, don't touch. Although these have a reputation of wisdom by promoting ascetic practices, humility, and severe treatments of the body, they are not of any value in curbing self-indulgence. To put this verse in other words, it's saying that following a bunch of rules regarding things you can't do doesn't do much except make you look self-important, and it does little to keep you from doing whatever you want to do in the first place. And what I mean by that is that if we present Christianity as just a set of rules that people need to follow and things that they're not allowed to do, there is no freedom in that. The people that live an unchristian lifestyle that aren't saved are already slaves to sin. And if we're going to try and make them slaves to a bunch of rules, they still won't experience true freedom. And the issue, and the issue isn't with the fact that there are things Christians can't do or shouldn't be doing. The issue is that if we focus too much on that, and we never give people the option of what they should be doing, how to live a Christian lifestyle, there's nothing to replace their sinful behavior. And so what I mean is, like, if I keep telling you, don't go down these stairs, but I don't tell you that you can go down those stairs instead, you'll find your own way. And the way that you find may not be a better way. It might actually be worse. And so people who aren't saved can look at Christians and they say, sure, a Christian, if I became a Christian, like looking as a non-Christian from their perspective, they can say, sure, as a Christian, if I became saved, I can't do this and I can't do that. But why? And if I can't do this and I can't do that, what should I do instead? And if without giving them any instruction or giving them or showing them and living the example of what they should be doing, they will try to figure it out on their own. And if they are not in the Word, and if they are not in the church and they're not being instructed through godly principles, they won't be able to do it. And we ourselves wouldn't be able to do it. And so we will end up just living the way that we used to, except now we have a bunch of rules that we're constantly afraid of breaking. And so, what's the option then? What are we supposed to do? How are we supposed to live as Christians? And if we have this sinful nature and if we have these desires of our flesh that we have to constantly resist, how do we do that? Well, if we look at Galatians 5:16 and 22, it says, I say then, walk by the Spirit, and you will not carry out the desire of the flesh. For the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faith, gentleness, self-control. Against such things there is no law. Following a bunch of rules that say what not to do won't help me resist sin because there's nothing to replace my sinful behavior. But if I know what it means to follow and walk by the Spirit and the kind of fruit I should have in my life, I can replace all the don'ts with do's, and by default no longer do what I shouldn't. For example, I won't lie because I know there is only freedom in the truth. I won't curse because my speech should be gracious and seasoned with salt. And I won't hate because I know that I will love my neighbor as myself. And so as a Christian, I will be known for the things I do believe in and for the things that I do. But and so my point in encouraging us to stop focusing on the don'ts is that, personally speaking, it didn't work for me to help my friends. But I wasn't able to help my friends understand what it meant to be a Christian by constantly showing them what I wasn't supposed to do. They knew I was a Christian, but all they knew was the things that I couldn't do. They knew I couldn't curse, and that was it. And so I don't want to continue living that kind of life. The point of living a Christian life is that we live in a way that glorifies God. And the people around us should know the freedom that we have to choose to do righteous things instead of sinful things. As Christians, not only do we have forgiveness of our sin, but we can choose to live godly lives and set an example by what we do believe in Christ. We are meant to be separated and set apart from the world, but it shouldn't be only by what we don't do. Let us be set apart by what Christ calls us to do, the commission he's given us, and the freedom we have because of what he did at the cross.